Hi, I'm Daniela. I'm an education lawyer specialized in civil law. In today's video, I'm going to give you information about property that is rented out specifically for residential purposes. And this is because in such circumstances, a specific law, the Private Residential Leases Act, applies. Now, this law provides for three types of contracts, all of lease. The first one is the shared residential space, whereby a person rents out residential space within a shared property with common amenities, with shared kitchen, shared bathrooms. Now, such type of contract cannot be longer than 6 months and cannot be renewed according to this law. Also, the person renting out can withdraw from such a lease at any time by giving one week notice. The second form of contract is the short private residential lease. Now, this form of lease is permitted for 6 months at most, and it is intended for any person who is in Malta, residing in Malta for either specific work purposes or for studying, because he or she is studying a course, attending a course that is not longer than 6 months, or for someone who needs an alternative residence to his or her ordinary one for a period of 6 months, or for someone who needs to move temporarily to lease a residential property for just 6 months. Again, this form of lease cannot be renewed. It also has to be registered. The person renting out cannot withdraw from such a lease within the first month, and after that can withdraw from the lease by giving a week's notice to the owner by registered mail. The third form of contract, and which is the most common, is the long private residential lease, which means that a person rents out a property belonging to someone else to live in it for a period longer than a year. Under this law, the lease cannot be shorter than a year. If it is, the law still deems it to be of at least a year. Now, if the property is rented out for more than a year and it is registered, so it is valid, the person owning the property can terminate before the time agreed. So let's say the parties agreed for 3 years, the owner can terminate before those 3 years have passed by giving 3 months notice in writing to the person renting out by registered mail and for a valid reason. Now, this remedy is not possible for the other two types of lease under the specific law. The person renting out, on the other hand, cannot withdraw from such lease until a certain period has passed. So, if the lease is for a period of up to 2 years, the person renting out cannot withdraw, cannot stop the lease before 6 months have passed. After those 6 months have passed, the person renting out can stop that lease by giving 1 month's notice in advance to the owner by registered mail. If the lease is for a duration between 2 and 3 years, the person renting out cannot stop it before 9 months have passed out of those 2 or 3 years. And after those 9 months, the person renting out can stop the lease by giving 2 months' notice in advance in writing by registered mail to the owner. If the lease is for a duration longer than 3 years, the person renting out cannot withdraw from that contract before a year, before 12 months have passed, and then after that can withdraw from the lease by giving 3 months notice in advance to the owner by registered mail. Now, obviously, these three types of contracts, the specific law requires that these contracts are registered with the housing authority when they are signed. In fact, the law imposes a time period of 10 days from commencement of lease for the owner to register the contract. If the owner does not register that contract, the person renting out has the option to register it himself or herself at the expense of the owner, so deducting the registration fee from the next rent due. And this is to safeguard the interest of both parties, because unless it is registered, that lease is not considered valid at law. Therefore, if you are a person who rents out a property which is used for residential purposes, or if you are, on the other hand, the person renting out a property where you live on a daily basis, your residence, you need to make sure that the contract of lease that you are a party to has the 7 essential elements for validity at law, that the contract has been registered within the time stipulated in the law with the housing authority, and that you fulfill your obligations, which we spoke about in another video. I hope you have found this video useful and interesting. Please do leave us a comment in the comment sections below, like and share, and thanks for watching.